Hey guys, Mars Singing here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so tomorrow, the Battle of Wits stage of Super Battle Road will be releasing on global stage 63 of Super Battle Road. And so I'll be doing the team building guide for it today. So this category is very limited in terms of the actual leaders that have a Battle of Wits leader skill. But obviously there are quite a lot of units within the team that you can use instead to make up other leaders. So we're going to be taking a look at the Battle of Wits category in general, and as always with my team building guides, we'll be going over the top picks and honourable mentions for the team. If there are any units that you think I missed out or that I should have talked more about, let me know down below in the comment section. And obviously, if you do find the guide helpful at all, do go ahead, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So, let's jump straight in. So, the main Battle of Wits actual category leader is the STR Vegito. He has Battle of Wits or Majin Buu Saga 3 key, HP 130, attack and defense 170. This guy is still a useful unit for Super Battle Road, because obviously if you do manage to get to turn 4, which if you're losing a lot of HP early on, you can kind of almost deliberately delay the fight until turn 4, and then you're going to be able to get the fusion and get the heal. This is why the Vegito fusion condition is a lot better than Gogeta for harder events, because you have to be below a certain HP threshold rather than above. So obviously if you end up taking a big hit, you know, you're going to be able to get the fusion with Vegito. And the thing is, as much as this unit has aged in terms of the really difficult content, when it comes to Super Battle Road, obviously this unit is still going to be very good. They raise defense on Super, they have damage reduction, and then if you do fuse into Vegito, not only are you getting that heal, but you also have the decent damage, well, I say decent, good damage output, as well as the counters to fall back on as well. So usually what will happen, if you can delay the fight to the 4th turn, you can get the fusion, get a heal, and then basically win the fight straight after that. So definitely can be useful. Covers the whole category in terms of the leader skill, so it makes team building a little bit less restrictive and can still be good in Super Battle Road. The other main Battle of Wits leader is the summonable LR Goku and Piccolo, Saiyan Saga or Battle of Wits 4 key and HP attack and defense 150. So even though it's 150 instead of 170 for the attack and defense, they are giving more HP and more key than STR Vegito. This unit has guard for 5 turns, so obviously makes them very good for Super Battle Road, because the fight usually isn't going to go on longer than that, which means they're going to have guard essentially for the whole time that they are in play, which is good. They get an additional super if they receive an attack as the first attacker in the turn, so obviously they work very well as a slot 1 unit. They don't have any stunning or sealing or anything like that, but they can be an effective unit for Super Battle Road. They don't have the best link set, but they definitely can be. I guess you could argue against some of the harder hitting enemies, especially when it comes to slot 1. They probably are a little bit better than the STR Goku and Vegeta, but they are a backup leader for Battle of Wits that you obviously can choose to use. So next up we have the Vegito Blue. So there's a lot of Battle of Wits units on Final Trump card, as well as Potara. Like most of the Vegitos are on there in general. But also this unit is just solid overall for Super Battle Road. You can put them in slot 3 where they have the 50% chance to dodge. They obviously don't get any defense like on Super, but they can put out quite a lot of damage. And then again, if you're getting to turn 4, maybe to hold out for the STR Vegito fusion, you'll obviously transform into Vegito Blue, who then becomes a lot better defensively, as well as putting out extra damage, extra super attacks. So this unit can be very good. I wouldn't say they're like a top pick, you run them on main rotation and they're going to dominate the whole stage, but with that dodge in slot 3, they're definitely a viable unit to put on the team and just kind of float in the 3rd slot. So next up we have the the INT Year 3 Anniversary Vegito. Obviously they are a Potara and an INT leader, so again there is a lot of crossover there with Vegito units, but then you are limiting yourself to pretty much only being able to use them or INT types, but with a 120 lead. So more so a unit to be on the team than the leader. They have the 30% chance to dodge, they raise defense on both of their super attacks, they have a medium chance to crit as well. So this unit can just be very good overall. You're probably never going to see their fusion because it's turn 6, which Very unlikely to see that in Super Battle Road unless it's one of those bosses where there's one enemy with a ton of HP, which this stage does not have. So these guys will be good on the team. The orb changing is helpful as well. Sorry, no, they don't orb change. They just get extra key per rainbow orb, which is good. So they're useful on the team, but obviously you can't really use them as a leader. Then we have the STR Vegito Blue. So for free-to-play players, this guy can be a good stand-in leader. Superclass 4 key and 120 to all stats. 120 is a little bit low nowadays for some of the harder events, but for Super Battle Road, you can probably still get by, especially with a friend with a full leader. So that'll be fine. Post Easy A, very good defensively after supering. In Super Battle Road, because you're not going to have multiple turns to stack up his defense, you just want to go for his 18 key super, and then you get the chance to launch an additional 12 key from the passive and from the hidden potential. So he can put out quite a lot of damage whilst also being very good defensively once those super attacks have gone off. So he's definitely a very solid unit for the team and a free-to-play option. So always good to have some good free-to-play options available. And as I already say, this guy can be used as a stand-in leader if you don't have one of the other leaders that you could use in this event. So, next up we have Master Roshi. So, this guy has remained useful for quite some time in Super Battle Road stages because of his abilities, right? So, he has a built-in chance to dodge, even though it is only 30%. He supports Turtle School allies, which pretty much is just Gokus. There's not a lot of them on this category, unfortunately. However, he does have the revive, which in this instance probably not going to be on the table because, again, Turtle School allies and crossover with Battle of Wits isn't particularly high. But he can be very useful for not only the built-in dodge, but the fact that his 12 key super has a chance to stun and his 18 key super seals. So he does have some of the useful status effects that you want to see in Super Battle Road. Plus he has links like Legendary Power and Kamehameha. Not exactly going to share, you know, a full link set with some of these Vegito units, but definitely can be somewhat useful on the team. Just be careful, obviously the chance to dodge is only 30% and you won't be able to get the revival, which means you can't use his active skill either. So he's pretty nerfed in this stage, but he definitely can be another useful free-to-play option. So next up we have the AGL Pycon. So Pycon is another unit that can be a good stand-in leader. There's quite a few of these units that are on Connected Hope, and then any other units that aren't. Superclass 3 key and 130 to stats is obviously still very useful. As long as you pick up a rainbow orb, he seals the enemy super attack. He has a 50% chance to dodge, and then he's providing support if you pick up 3 or more type orbs. You can activate his unit super with a Goku or Vegeta Angel. I'm not sure if there's a huge crossover with that on Battle of Wits either, but we'll have a look at the list at the end. And he can be pretty useful. You can use his active skill only when there's one enemy, but obviously once you get down to only having one enemy left, then his active skill can obviously be a good way to make sure you finish off the fight without accidentally eating like a slot 1 super attack or something. So I think this guy, even if you're not running him as the lead, if he fits under the leader skill of the unit that you are running as your leader, you should probably bring him on the team, if nothing else for the support and the sealing. He'll obviously be very useful, and then again his active skill can kind of be used as the icing on the cake to finish the fight without having to worry about taking damage from the last enemy. So definitely very good, because even if you don't kill him in that turn, Pycon's going to seal him, and then you've got one turn left, one enemy left, he's sealed, all good. So next we have AGL, Trunks and Mai. They have a joined forces leader skill. There are quite a few joined forces units on this category. They greatly raise attack and defense for one turn on super. Now a lot of their buffs, now you're going to have potentially a Vegito Blue, right? So you get an extra buff for having him on the team. There are not, however, going to be future Saga enemies or a Zamasu or Goku Black enemy. So they're obviously not getting their full potential. But one thing that can be very useful is their active skill. Whenever there's a Trunks Teen, Trunks Future, or My Future in the same turn, you can use their active skill to get a guaranteed stun, although it does reduce their own defense. So I guess to be fair, if we have a look at Battle of Wits in general, we've got like the AGL Mai is on there, there's a couple of Trunkses on here, so there are a couple of units that you can use in order to get that active skill. And the active skill can be pretty useful, because whilst it does nerf their own defense, if you can put them in a slot where they're only being attacked by one enemy, you can target that enemy for the stun, and then obviously you can control the fight a little bit easier. So definitely can be a useful unit. This is a unit that I'm really interested to see alongside Bardock and Guinea, because they released at the same time. They were the side banner units on the 5th anniversary banners. I'm really intrigued to see what these units are going to look like when they eventually get an easy A, because I think they could be pretty good, but these guys definitely can be useful on the team. Next up, we have the Tech Candy Vegito. So this guy, RNG completely, right? He has a 70% chance to dodge, which is pretty good. He has a 50% chance to stun, as well as raising defense on super. He is a nuking style unit. He gets most of his stats from tech orbs, or he does get some defense from non-tech orbs. So this guy can be very hit or miss, right? Like, he could put up a great performance for you, dodge every time, get a couple of stuns along the way, and then he's going to be, you know, looking very useful for the team overall. But otherwise, if he's not dodging, he is potentially taking a lot of damage, but he is another free-to-play option that can be very useful. Next up, we have the Tech Vegito Blue. Now, I've included him in the guide because this stage comes out at the same time as the Easy A for this guy and STR Rose. So if you do the Extreme Z battle first, then obviously you can Easy A this guy and then bring him into the stage. So he has a super types lead of 4 key and 140, as long as you have all 5 types on the team, which does actually work as a better leader skill than some of the other sub-leaders that we've talked about. He raises attack and defense on super. He has a chance to launch 2 additional supers from his passive. And then, of course, you have the one from the hidden potential as well. So he can super multiple times. He gets all of his defense pretty much at the start, an extra 50% when attacking. And then as he performs his attacks, he builds up 20% attack with each attack performed up to 200%. So you're probably never going to see him fully built up in Super Battle Road, but there is the potential of him attacking 4 times in one turn. And he does get the attack build up with each attack. It doesn't have to be a super. So he could super, do 2 additional normals, and then do an additional super from the hidden potential. And that like additional super at the end is going to benefit from the extra like 60% attack that you've already built up. So definitely very useful. He has a medium chance to crit after receiving an attack, but I mean, unless there's an AGL enemy, I wouldn't put him in slot 1 anyway, to be honest. So he can work out well on the team, but obviously you want to Easy A him first. Pre-Easy A, he will just be an absolute liability. So next up, we have STR Piccolo. So STR Piccolo, he's going to be very, very good on this team. He's got solid start of turn defense. He guards. He can stun on. He seals on super attack. He is supporting all of the super class allies. When there's an extreme enemy, he's giving extra. He gives defensive support usually, and then gives attack support when there is an extreme class enemy. So if we go back to the list again, we are fighting extreme enemies for... Actually, wait, no, the Great Apes are all super, aren't they, Team Bardock? So we're fighting extreme types on the first and final stage, but not on the middle one. So he's still going to be giving defensive support, though, which is obviously really what's most important, to be honest. So he's very good. He also gets an extra 100% defense when there's 2 or more enemies. So very, very good for Super Battle Road. Now, we also have this Piccolo, who got his Easy A during the Worldwide Celebration. He raises defense on 1 turn, does supreme damage to all enemies as an AoE, medium chance to stun all enemies, so he can be really, really useful. He's got solid start of turn stats, but then is also a nuker who creates his own orbs. So he definitely can be very, very good. He gets a guaranteed crit and 6 key on the first turn when there's 2 or more enemies. So the first appearance against every set of enemies, he's getting a guaranteed crit and a guaranteed super. So he definitely is worth including on the team. With good RNG, you could have this guy just lock down everything, right, by stunning all of the enemies with his super attack. So he definitely can be very good. You can't link him up with the other Piccolo, which is a shame, because this guy's a super good slot 1 unit for the team, and you don't really want to put this guy in slot 1, but even if you just use him as a 3rd slot floating unit, it's worth bringing him, because even if he shares no key links with anyone else on the team, for that first appearance, as long as there's still 2 or more enemies left, he's going to guaranteed super, so he can be very good. Then we have this Trunks. We have talked about a few hybrid. There's actually not that many standalone hybrid units, but he's still very good on the team, simply because he can multiple super and he has a chance to stun on super attack. And once he's got his supers off, his defense is pretty good. So he's more of an honourable mention because there's not a lot of hybrid Saiyans on this team build for him to support, but he can definitely be pretty good. Then we have the Physical Piccolo. So Physical Piccolo, he's a little bit outdated now. We really want to get his easy A. He does raise defense on super, but the thing that is going to be very important is he has the Scouter effect with no condition. So obviously knowing where the super attacks are going to be is very, very useful in Super Battle Road. He does also recover 7% HP when your HP is 77% or less. So a little bit of free healing is always nice. But this guy definitely is more of an honourable mention. If you get to turn 4, you confuse if you're running one of the other Piccolos, but there's not really much point other than, I guess, just using it to finish off the fight. He does have damage reduction, though. Like, this unit, when he gets his easy A, I can imagine he's going to be really, really good. But that Scouter effect is definitely one of the reasons why you would bring him on the team, right? And then last but not least, I wanted to cover, because you guys know me, I'm a big Heroes fan. There are actually enough Heroes units to run a full Heroes team of Battle of Wits. So if you can run either God Trunks or Hearts as the leader. Hearts obviously is the 200% lead. Now you can't run a full Extreme team. But the only thing you miss out on when there isn't a full Extreme rotation is a little bit of extra support and an extra chance to stun from his passive. But he can stun on super attack already anyway. And he guards for 5 turns, so he's a good slot 1 unit. Overall, like this team, I'm actually going to use this team probably just for the Heroes agenda, right? I'll probably try and do the no item run with this team. Because you have Hearts in slot 1, you've got Sealus, who post Easy A is really, really good, has built-in dodge, is providing support. We have Fu, who again is really good, loads of built-in dodge. He seals on super attack, his post-super defense is really good. Gets extra stats when he dodges. Then we have the Int Demon Goddess Toa, who's getting a little bit outdated now, but she lowers attack and seals. So as long as you position her carefully and target the enemies who are going to be attacking her, she can keep herself protected a little bit. She also has this 50% heal and 50% extra buff to extreme allies when you drop below 50% HP, which in Super Battle Road, I mean, you could literally turn 1, you could get hit with a super, lose more than 50% of your HP, and then turn 2, she's on rotation, boom, you get the heal, and then you get a nice little buff for everybody as well. And then, of course, Darkness Toa is also on the category. She's pretty much in the same boat, lots of support. Her heal and buff is at 30% or less, which is obviously harder to get, but you get a full heal, and you get 60% extra support, which is pretty crazy. So she's definitely very, very good. I didn't cover every single Heroes unit, but that is the list that I had up so far for the top picks and honourable mentions. So if we go back to Battle of Wits, I specifically looked at the extreme side for the Heroes units, and we've covered all the ones that are here. Technically, I guess, actually, Hearts has... is Heroes or Time Travelers, so you wouldn't be able to use Android 21, because crossover is the 30% and he needs extreme crossover allies, but 21 doesn't fit under his leader skill. But Super Saiyan 4 Vegito is on here, God Trunks, Super Pycon. There are non-extreme Heroes units, so I guess you'd have to run a non-extreme unit on the team, and it means when they float into the rotation with Hearts, he would lose out on that extra bit of support. But otherwise, he would still be good. I would imagine out of the 3, you'd probably want to go with God Trunks, because as long as you have a full Heroes team, he's changing orbs, he does a lot of damage, he seals, so you just have him as like a 3rd slot floater on the team. So a full Heroes team is actually very viable. So in terms of other honourable mentions, I guess Krillin, actually, to be fair. He's a Turtle School unit that helps out Roshi. He's an AoE, he can stun. Actually, I feel like maybe he should have been one of the top picks, right? He can AoE stun. He can definitely be very, very useful. This AGL Vegito is okay. AGL Trunks is alright as a slot 2 unit. Super Saiyan 3 Trunks is another Heroes unit. He's good defensively as long as he actually gets his guard. AGL Mai is supporting while having a really high chance to stun. She also obviously helps out for that AGL Trunks and Mai if you want to use them and get their active skill. Super Vegito can still be good at tanking normal attacks and doing some extra damage with his counters, but his damage is outdated, and obviously if he gets supered, he's going to take a lot of damage. Krillin's a decent support, but again, not the best defense. Tech Pycon got his easy A, but is just kind of mid. This Tech Vegito can provide a lot of support. He can be really good. Int Mai, again, like the other Mai, chance to stun. She's only supporting future allies though, so unless you are building the team with Trunkses and like Vegito Blues and stuff, she's not going to be that effective. This Trunks actually does get better and give extra support to crossover, so he could be kind of good if you are running a team that could actually allow that, right? Because you could run Vegito, Super Saiyan 4 Vegito as the lead with his crossover leader skill, and then you could run this guy and heroes units and stuff like that. So there's definitely a few good options on here outside of the ones that we talked about. The Goten and Trunks are on here, as well as the movie 18. They're all pretty good together. So there are a lot of solid options on Battle of Wits. So that is it for the team building guide. Those are my top picks and honourable mentions. Let me know down below, like I say, if there's any units that I didn't talk about or you think I should have gone into more detail. And let me know what your team build is going to look like for this stage down below. Let me know if there's anyone else out there. I know there's a lot of us in my community going to be pushing the Heroes agenda and running that Heroes team. So let me know your teams down below in the comment section. So that's going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.